There is a whole world of cinema to be discovered. You just have to overcome that 1-inch barrier known as subtitles. This is that 1-inch barrier, a podcast dedicated to international cinema, movies from all over the world. I'm Nicola Barrow, joined as always by my hosts, Josh Barry and Kieran Griffiths. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good,
we ready to go to
Muy
Spain?
bien.
Muy bien? Yeah.
That's almost Spanish.
Kieran is speaking bilingual today because we are 3 English speakers going into the world of Spain, the Spanish language, with a director who is a very prolific director across the world. He's had a filmography spanning over 4 decades, created films that have been recently featured on the New York Times Top 100 lists of the 21st century. I don't know if he's an Oscar winner, actually. I should have had that up and ready to go because we're really, spot on podcast with everything ready to go. Super prepared at all times. Awards and nominations. Nominated. He is an Academy Award winner for 2 times for All About My Mother and Talk to Her.
Oh, look at that.
The 2 films featured behind us. But Pedro Almodóvar is who we are focusing on today, and his 1988 Spanish absurdist dark comedy, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. One of the films in his eclectic filmography that is kind of arguably regarded as maybe his best film. It's one that people go back to a lot, and it often pops up in best of lists. Haven't seen this film. None of us had seen this film before this.
Knowing that, I hadn't heard of this.
Interesting.
I'd heard of it, but only because it was such a striking title.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that you know nothing about, but you've heard of it just because it's a title that sticks in your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
I may have also been getting confused with Woman Under the Influence, which is another classic film.
There's another very highly regarded film.
He has done a lot of films, hasn't he?
Well, I wanted to do that.
Busy man. I mean, his first film was
1986.
Yeah,
86. Matador.
Sorry, was it 86? 86 was his first feature film.
Hang on.
1980, sorry.
Yeah.
1986 was his first nomination for an award.
So 45 years of making films. The man's 75.
Yep.
Still cranking out movies. He had Pain and Glory in 2019, Parallel Mothers in 2021.
Yep.
And
great films.
Room Next Door, his first English language film, was last year.
Yep.
He did Strange Way of Life, which was the short film with Ethan Hawke and Pascal. He's a busy man.
Yeah. I mean, and movies like Vulva and I believe Broken Embraces was featured on that New York Times Top 100 movies.
Skin I
Live In's got quite a bit of notoriety to it as well. So he's
big collaborator with Penelope Cruz.
Big collaborator with Penelope Cruz. Big collaborator with Antonio Banderas, who is in this film. A strikingly young,
very young
Antonio Banderas in this film.
How young would he have been? So, and Banderas was born in 1960.
28 when this movie came out. So
he does look about 18.
He looks
a baby,
bloody young. But obviously, a film in the Spanish language. So the movie follows an actress called Pepper who her lover, Ivan, leaves with no trace. Just one day goes, I'm breaking up with you. And she just wants to find out why. That's literally the premise of the film. She just wants to find out why and goes on this
she's got some news that she kind of wants to divulge.
She needs to tell him something as well.
Yeah.
But she ultimately just wants to find out why he broke up, wants to get in contact with him, and it just leads her on this journey where the women aspect, the plural aspect of women is she meets a lot of females along this journey who either are going to help or hinder her in this journey for the reason of the breakup and the deliverance of the news that she wants to give to Ivan as well. I'd seen a fair few Almodóvar films. You'd seen a fair few. This was your first of his Spanish, so you've only seen Room Next Door before this, right?
Yeah, so hilariously, it was his first, he's done like 40-odd films.
Yes.
And he's done 1 English film, and that's the only one I've seen. Because I caught that at Brisbane Film Festival last year.
Last year,
that's right. Which had Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton, yes.
I think it gave me a real understanding, though, of Almodóvar's style. And now having watched this film as well, I can see that, I was pretty on the money with what I thought a Pedro Almodóvar film.
Yes.
What was that sort of style? Like, if you were to put it into words, what was your understanding of it? Because it'd be interesting to see, having seen a few more of them.
Feels very soap opera-y.
Yes.
Very melodramatic.
Yeah.
Everyone's sort of no one feels natural. Like everyone feels like they're playing a character.
Yep.
And the dialogue is very melodramatic and soap opera as well.
Yes.
I think that's why I like this. Just straight up, I like this a lot more than I like The Room Next Door.
Yep.
But I think that's because Almodóvar's dialogue doesn't work well in English.
And I think that was the main criticism with The Room Next Door, is that it just didn't translate well into an American deliverance of that sort of dialogue.
Yeah, I can see.
Whereas here, reading the subtitles but understanding the tone of the Spanish and the rhythm of the Spanish language, and it's very apparent in his other Spanish films as well. Hilarious, like very darkly funny.
Yeah, everyone's very hysterical. Like a lot of people yelling over the top of one another, and
not common in the 80s. Like in that, or if that was just maybe a rising sort of element of films, right? It's that overlapping, like people yelling over each other.
Well, that's
not this clear.
A big Robert Altman
thing, right?
I've just recently learned.
We've learned
Altman.
We're educated
that it was a
cinephiles
big
now.
black hole in my viewing.
Same here as well. So yeah, the very soap opera, very melodramatic. This movie very much so encaptures all of that. Another thing Almodóvar loves is the making of movies. Color as well. We were talking about color.
Big as well,
He loves the making of movies. He loves the making. And so the two of the characters in this film, Pedro and Ivan, are voice actors who dub foreign films. If you look at something like Pain and Glory, which is another Antonio Banderas Almodóvar collaboration, he's a director making a movie about his life. Or if you look at, there is another one, and it's escaping my mind now, but it is about using film to tell stories. So I like the way he includes sort of his love for cinema in this, as having and sort of an understated aspect of filmmaking as well. These guys come in and do the Spanish dub for English films, which I love that. Color though.
Yeah.
This is a vivid movie.
Yeah. There's red everywhere.
Red everywhere.
Which is in all his films. If you just look at his posters on...
Yeah, His Glory, Parallel Mothers, they both jump into mind. You know.
What that means, actually, I don't know. Was there anything sort of that stuck out with you about the color red? Why it's sort of what the color red means?
Nothing jumps out at me. I mean, I'm sure I could theorize, but like, I mean, women in general are a very big part of his films.
Yeah,
like even just looking at the two that I've seen in terms of The Room Next Door, it's about the relationship between two women.
He's very
you know, women in this sort of like mass hysteria. And so I guess men's views towards women. But I know from his other films that he's very, like, you know, women and the female experience is a very big part of his.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's a part of the reason that, like, no matter how chaotic this film gets and no matter how, for lack of a better word, crazy Pepper comes off, it's always an empathetic sort of view of it as well. She kind of gets fucked around in this movie a lot. You can understand why she is on the verge of a nervous breakdown the entire film.
Pretty justified.
It's very justified. I've just got here red. So obviously the positive emotions are like love, passion, and courage, which are obviously three strong traits in women as well, especially if you're looking like in a paternal aspect as well. And then the negative ones are anger, danger, and aggression, which with this movie very much justifies in her as her emotions in that regard as well. But red all over this film, but it's very heightened. It's not even that it's like color graded that way, but the sets are these very impactful, vivid colors. Yellow's another one that's used.
Think about Pepper's apartment. It's just like it's just color everywhere.
Color, literally, a bit of blue in there as well. Like she is it's a very vivid sort of aesthetic to the film. But that's something Pedro does across his filmography. It kind of screams like the artist side of things for me as well. Like it strikes me that she is a sort of an arty person who would want to live this way. Very exuberant. She's very outgoing. She's very she wears her emotions on her sleeve. I think back to like towards the beginning, the opening interactions with the receptionist at the studio, who they have a very sort of, that's when you're talking about the relationships between like the women who will help and hinder her. This receptionist doesn't give a shit about her and is very much more of an Ivan fan than a Pepper fan in that regard. So
and just the back and forth between her and all the characters, you know, it's very like sort of fast-paced, rapid dialogue. You know, and again, sort of very like eccentric, exaggerated movements and things like that. And again, that very soap opera-y look and feel to it. You know, but not in like a, you know, in a home and away kind of way.
No,
like Spanish telenovela.
The telenovela thing, which is
for this, I would say more like a theatre show. I felt like this could have easily been
these. Well, funny you say that. It was actually adapted into a stage show.
Musical.
Okay,
musical.
Yeah,
in 2010,
like in the apartment and on the balcony and stuff.
Yeah,
especially with that fake backdrop of the city and stuff.
Yes,
very much like a painted sky type thing.
Yes.
Well, it's funny you bring up the balcony stuff as well, because as much as this is Pepper's story as she goes through, we do it intersects with other stories of women who are going through their own struggles as well. We have a woman who is attempting to kill herself at one point, which then sort of intersects with Pepper's story in there. And it's one of those things where I think it's a really interesting screenplay in the way it does make you care about characters with their limited screen time, knowing that there is a whole nother world that is happening outside of this film when these sorts of characters are introduced. There's a hijacking plot. There is a kidnap. The hijacking plot is wild.
The whole thing is wild.
I didn't see this coming, when I was watching it, because I hadn't read up about the film before watching it.
Yeah.
And when a terrorist hijacking plot becomes a central part of the third act of the film, I was a bit like, if anyone could pull this off, it would be Almodóvar, to be fair.
Like I said, it's a relatively simple story of this woman just trying to find out why her lover has left her.
Yes.
And then we get this woman's friend coming through and going, I'm accidentally embroiled in a terrorist plot.
Yeah.
Because I accidentally slept with a terrorist. And now the cops are going to get me.
So good.
She's the one that's trying to throw herself off the balcony.
So funny.
And then we have another woman also having a nervous breakdown because she is Ivan's ex-wife. And not
Lucia.
and she's not, the jealous lover who wants to, get back at her ex-husband's new lover.
Yeah.
She's been in a mental asylum for
the whole time.
And still thinks she's married to him.
Yes.
And is now trying to hunt him down.
We've got Ivan's son.
Played by Antonio Banderas.
And only because he's come to look at the apartment to rent it.
Yeah. Unknowing that the woman who owns it is his dad's, his estranged father's lover.
Yeah.
With his girlfriend she's
just about to launch herself off a balcony. And then,
she's a bizarre character as well.
But bizarre is an interesting word because it is so heightened and ridiculous that even the most insane of characters feel like the most normal people in this story. Like, that's what is wild
Everyone's
about this
having
film
a fairly normal reaction to the absurdity of the situation they find themselves in.
And it worked in two ways for me. I laughed a lot. I thought this was a very funny movie.
Yeah.
But I was feeling tense throughout the whole thing as well. And it was kind of... Yeah. It's a weird comparison, but it works in my mind. There's a bit of an Uncut Gems quality to this.
Yeah.
Where I was sitting there going this is just escalating to a point that is it's transcended the film itself. This movie that started out as like a lady who was just trying to find out why her partner's left her without a trace has turned into what we get in the final 15 minutes of this film. So I think it's wild, but it's without sounding too not a cop-outy, but in the sense of it's hard to put into words. It's very Almodóvar. Yeah. He does this sort of dark comedy very well, but he's calmed down a lot from that, especially in the 2000s when he started telling more true stories, more stories sort of about him. He's reminded me of Alfonso Cuarón, where he sort of writes stories about the people he knows and the women in his life, like Roma was.
Because that's the majority. What I've seen is the late 90s,
the 2000s stuff, where
I've pretty much seen, and there's about 10 there that I've seen,
which are all a bit darker and a bit more somber in their stuff, but
it's
still
to be expected when you've been directing for 40 years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it's very rare that you get a director who stays kind of in the same lane for their entire careers. You think about who else has been around that long? Spielberg, still doing big blockbusters. Scorsese still very much in that kind of he's like, I'm a Catholic and I like gangsters.
Yeah.
And it's that's my thing. And James Cameron still just rocks up to do
Avatar every
still
now
do
and then.
Avatar.
He's given the last 20 years of his life to that.
I feel bro. They're kind of the exception. I feel like a lot of directors do change and do evolve,
try and do different things,
and shift their tone. It's still very clearly a them film.
Yes.
But I think you look at Nolan. Nolan's gotten more historical as well.
With
the Odyssey and Oppenheimer. He's never really done true stories before.
Yeah.
I think Fincher has gone in a very different direction. Like he's moved away from as many thriller-y sort of things.
Like just dark, sadistic sort of movies.
Yeah,
and
like you still know a Fincher film.
Yes.
But it's like, I guess, like you look at like Social Network and Benjamin Button versus when he was doing The Game, Seven, Fight Club.
All that stuff. Yeah. And that's a perfect comparison. I think Fincher, in that way, is a very perfect comparison to Almodóvar, who did start with these sort of very much like soap operatic, dark comedies, still very female-centric, because you look at his whole filmography and he loves telling the stories of women and not necessarily... I don't want to say not powerful women, because they are powerful in their own rights, but women who have been downtrodden especially, and sort of that overcoming of adversity because they are a woman, especially in certain time periods as well. He loves sort of films set in 60s, 70s, and 80s in that regard as well.
But it's like telling stories of like real relatable women.
Women,
like, girl boss, Like,
totally.
And for a man, he writes women, I think, really well.
It's the one thing he's been very well praised for in his career, Almodóvar, is that fact that he can do that quite well. And even when you look at something like Pain and Glory, which is a movie about a man, the central relationships of that film, he often, when Antonio Banderas' character is filming scenes of this movie when he's a child, there are always women present, and it's always about the mum around him. It's always women around him.
Right,
so, this sort of full 360 understanding of women and the intricacies and the nuances, because this might shock some people out there. Women are people too. They are human. It's crazy, right?
Can they vote?
They fart as well. It's wild. But in the sense of like there's so many complaints about things in modern cinema, like underwritten female characters. Nolan is someone who is criticized for that. Whether it's true or not is sort of up for debate.
You can't just have the wife die in every film.
Yeah, exactly. He's like man trauma. Whereas Almodóvar has such a nuanced understanding and is a very empathetic sort of look. No matter how sort of dark and satirical his films do get, especially Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, there is such an empathetic lens through the characters. Like Ivan is, as much as like he has got himself in trouble with certain things, he is kind of the dickhead of the film. Like he's not the nice guy of the movie in that way. You know what I mean?
And he's
like,
sort of the root cause of everyone's issue.
Everyone's problem, right? Yeah, it's like the man is the problem at the center of
men. Am I right?
Am I right? Great Alex Garland film. No,
saying that, I've just read this.
Oh yes,
Carmen Moiras, so plays Pepe. Their personal relationship was seriously damaged during the shooting of this film.
Okay.
Which Moira even defined as a living hell.
Wow.
It took them 18 years to work again on Vulva.
Between Almodóvar
and Carmen Moira. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, maybe I take everything back that I just said?
I just read that. I was like,
so he writes really great.
He writes really well, but he's not great to work well. At that point, anyway.
I tell you what, maybe it has changed.
You're going to have
personality clashes and stuff.
But also sets that just go bad.
Well, and you look at something like this that, like, I don't think it was made for a lot of money. $700,000 budget.
So they're doing everything on a shoestring.
Literally, yeah. And when you've probably got someone who's got a bit of an auteur filmmaking mindset, like Almodóvar, who like the production design needs to be perfect.
And you can tell
this is not shot on the streets of Spain. They're just like pickup shots here and there. There's no guerrilla filmmaking. It is, the shots are so like planned and perfect.
Everything is framed and blocked.
There's so many,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so many of the light fittings, and I'm just looking at it going, where have they sourced that from?
Yeah,
like
it's all just Almodóvar's house.
Yeah. Well,
but there's a big difference between like Kubrick and Shelley Duvall.
Yes.
Versus, Fincher, who just does 300
takes or something, and people just get bored of it. Yeah.
But versus Clint Eastwood, who does one take, he's like, that'll do.
Yeah.
One of my favorite.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
I can't remember the actor who said it, but he's like, Clint Eastwood doesn't even just say action. He kind of just sits there and goes, "Okay, go ahead," and then he's like, "Good," and just moves on to the next thing. That's great.
I love it
because he did Invictus, didn't he?
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been Matt Damon talking about working with Eastwood on Invictus. He was like, yeah, like we didn't even know we were rolling up at
half the time. Just boys playing rugby.
But then you get actors like Ed Norton, who's like difficult in inverted commas, but it's just he's a bit of a perfectionist.
He's a bit of a perfectionist.
You know, so like those interpersonal relationships
are always interesting.
Yes, big egos, right? Like you're always going to get those clashes.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
But yeah, I think I really enjoyed. I think this movie needed to be funny because of the ramping intensity, because it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. I know some of the humor comes from the fact that this movie gets to a point where there's like a literal standoff at an airport.
Yeah.
When you think about it, you know what I mean? Like this movie's like climax.
It starts with, again, we keep going back to it. It starts with her trying to find out why her boyfriend's
dumped her.
And it ends with a shootout at an
airport. Which is wild to think. One of my favorite shots is when she returns home, and not to spoil too much, but it's just all the people she's interacted with throughout the day who have come to the apartment who are just like unconscious everywhere. It's a great shot. And it's just like there may be some oh my god,
gazpacho.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah. He loves it. He can't help it.
Was they trying to drug him? Maybe. Who knows?
But the punchline of the film is the final. Like, this movie is one big setup for the punchline of the film, where it is revealed what she wanted to tell Ivan. And to me, like, that is the most. I remember was watching it and I just went, oh, that's good. I was like, that's funny, because I completely forgot what we were doing. True. And I was like, and it brought me back to that point. I was like,
and it was only 80 minutes ago that we.
The amount this movie finishes fits in 85 minutes, because there's a couple of minutes for the credits. Oh, well, because it's an extended. I loved the opening credits.
The
song was
really
great. It was really well done.
We've talked about this before. We need to bring back good opening credits.
Yeah, we have talked about that. And I'm watching these. I'm like, these are cool.
Yeah. Again, Fincher loves an opening credits. Yeah. I'm all for them.
These ones almost felt like Mad Men.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Silhouette sort of character drawings and stuff.
Great show. Underrated.
Great show. Very underrated show. This obviously came before that. But
yes. Yeah. Well, this copied Mad Men.
Wait, Mad Men wasn't made in the 60s?
It's not a documentary. But yeah, and so like the fact that it crams so much into this sort of 80-minute window, but doesn't feel overstuffed, doesn't feel too convoluted and complicated, because at its core, we are just having this very sort of empathetic journey with this character, where it's like, we just want her to prevail at the end of the day. We want her to get back with Ivan. Spoiler, it doesn't happen, but like in that, you know, we go on that journey with her, and it's just wild. It's fun. It feels like it's from a filmmaker in a time, especially in the late 80s, where he was just like, I'm going to make what I want to make. And that's kind of exciting, like when you kind of get the chance to do that and it works.
Yeah. It's a super confident feature as well, given that he's still very early in his career. It's so wrapped up in his style and his identity as a filmmaker. Yeah. And like I said, you can still see that in The Room Next Door, a film that was released, you know, nearly 40 years later, you know, in English. I think you can still see those through threads, like the visual style and the dialogue and things like that.
And then Room Next Door is his most sort of like contained film aesthetically.
Okay.
It's very much so, like, and that's saying something, you know what I mean?
But
like,
it still has a lot of that, again, like that sort of like very dark humor.
Yes.
Because you've got Tilda Swinton basically just being at one with her death and being like, oh yeah, I'm going to die. Like, could be tomorrow, could be next week, who knows? And then you've got Julianne Moore, who's like super uncomfortable with the whole concept.
And then another great performance from John Turturro, who can do no bad in my book. Even when he's that fucking secret agent in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, I still love John Turturro.
With what you mentioned, like the Uncut Gems comparison and that like constantly ramping tension, it's like that Ralph Wiggum thing of like the I'm in danger.
The whole movie.
Like you feel that as an audience member. You're
literally.
Like, and then the cop shows up to the apartment, and then like the, you know, Pepper's friend who thinks that the police are there to arrest her because they're gonna know that she slept with a terrorist. She's like freaking out, and then Antonio Banderas is like trying to like muffle her while the police are watching, and
so good.
What is with Antonio Banderas feeling the need to like kiss every woman in this film?
I think that's kind of got something to do with like he is obviously Ivan's son, and that says more to me about Ivan than it does actually.
He's like a weird womanizer who doesn't know how to behave.
Like,
every opportunity, like when he's alone with a woman, he just like tries to make out with her, and they're like, don't do that. He's like, sorry, my bad. I'm Spanish.
I'm a Spaniard. I'm a hot Spaniard. I cannot help it. But that to me says more about Ivan than it does about him, like in his upbringing and sort of the influence. And then you kind of go like, when it's revealed at the end what she was wanting to tell. Like, you kind of go like, oh man, like really, like you wanted to be with this fucking dude. Yeah. I think it's just a very, very well layered sort of.
And it makes sense. Like Ivan's very like he's an older guy, he's an actor, he's very suave. And
he's
charming.
very suave. Yeah.
The way we're introduced to him when he's walking down the street, like chatting up all these women. In like this like dreamlike sequence.
Yeah, that's good.
It's such a beautiful introduction to his character. I think
it's.
Yeah, like you said, what they cram into such a short run time.
Yes, there's no fat. There's no fat on this movie at all. But it's not one that you feel like you have to spend more time in as well. Like I didn't feel like I needed to. Yeah, exactly.
I'm satisfied.
I think because it's crazy. I think because the movie is just insane. You kind of you need the highlights. That's all you need from that, and then back. If this was like a 2-hour movie, you'd probably be exhausted.
Yeah, true.
And probably annoyed by it. Because it is operating at like a screeching frequency.
Yeah, and it just, as you said, it just ramps and ramps
and
I think
really fun finale.
Oh yeah, I think, but for something that is so absurd and it does get quite silly at points, it never feels too silly. Like
the tone is very, but I think maybe it just comes back to that soap opera sort of tone from the beginning, right? Like it plays its tone very early.
Yeah, you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
melodramatic, like you said earlier.
Yeah. Yes. And I think I can totally understand why some people would be put off by it.
Yeah.
It's a style that's not going to be for everyone, and I didn't think it would be for me because I don't normally like this kind of thing. But like you said, it's funny.
Yes.
I think the characters, you connect with them even though they're a bit ridiculous, a bit melodramatic, a bit sort of caricaturish.
Yes. For sure.
But that you do connect with them.
It's silly. Very.
And you're invested in each person's, you're invested in Pepper's journey to find Ivan and tell him her news.
And this isn't in a detrimental way, but it works so well in the Spanish language. That sort of fast-paced dialogue that just naturally comes with the Spanish dialect works so well because it doesn't feel like anyone's taking a breath. At any point as well.
Right.
But again, that works in favor of everyone is trying to sort their own shit out. And the fact that it sort of correlates with each other is fun, but like no one actually gives a shit about each other's peril. That's the kind of the funny thing at the end. And then the fact that they're all trying to get their word in adds to this sort of tension, but it's funny. It's really funny at the same time. I wouldn't want to hang out with any of these people. Happy to watch them on a film, but I'm not hanging out with any of you.
No, they would all make your day worse.
By
knowing them.
Especially Pedro Almodóvar, the notorious sunglasses stealer, as we found out from Kieran's story at the end of the
I have no idea how true that story is. It's a great story, and that man has no reason to lie to me. So I'm going to assume it's entirely true.
I hope this is all over all the trades when this episode drops. Like Pedro Almodóvar stole sunglasses
thief.
Wanted. But a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is just a fun film. I don't think it's got any sort of grand ideas or all these, important thematic messages and all that. There's definitely, some stuff in there about like we talked about the female experience and that kind of stuff. But it is just a fun movie that you can just watch and have a good time with.
Agreed.
I think it's super accessible, but I think you're going to know within the first 10 minutes if it's for you or not.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely great.
But it's not silly and weird in the same way that Mandibles was silly and weird.
But I wonder if that's just different styles of comedy, like French style of comedy versus Spanish style of comedy. Yeah. But again,
well, Mandibles was that very much like Dumb and Dumber style.
Dumb and Dumber, that's very
two idiots, slapstick.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of like an English language.
That is kind of like this, and there would be
from like a comedy aspect. Like I know you can bet it like
May December. May December is an interesting one because it kind of starts like that.
Yeah,
that opening line is like, "We're going to run out of hot dogs." Like I'm like, is this sort of Almodovarian? But it's like not, because it actually becomes quite serious as it goes on.
It's got elements of that.
Probably made the first act of May December.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Now I'm starting to think it's a bit of a reach.
But it's tough though. Because
it's tough,
again, it's so idiosyncratic.
The best comparison would then be The Room Next Door from the same filmmaker, who we were all like, it kind of just didn't work. Like as comparatively to his other movies as well. So. But this movie, beloved, absolutely beloved. It's like, not that we do Rotten Tomatoes stuff, it's 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it is ranked number 78 on Empire Magazine's 100 Best Films of World Cinema. Nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars and the Golden Globes. Won a whole lot of awards for all over the board. Almodóvar won awards. Carmen Maura won awards. So it's very, very much It got the Golden Acela at the Venice Film Festival for Best Screenplay. So this is just a very critically renowned film.
Yeah.
People love it.
Just looking at what I've seen, I haven't seen Live Flesh in 97 that he did.
Okay.
But then in this run from 99, All About My Mother, Talk to Her, Bad Education with Gail Garcia
Bernal,
Volva, then into Broken Embraces, Penelope Cruz, The Skin I Live In, back with Banderas.
Yeah.
So that leads into 2011. That run of
it's a good
7 films.
Good as a run as most directors.
Oh man,
and
I loved all those films.
Yeah. I haven't seen I'm So Excited or Giulietta, which are the two he did, but then he did this Pain and Glory, which I thought was incredible.
Which is Banderas again.
And then he did Parallel. You didn't like it?
I did not like it.
It's depressing. It's very dark. It's a very down movie. And then he did Parallel Mothers, which I really enjoyed. Parallel Mothers, which was Penelope Cruz.
Yes, okay.
And
Strange Way of Life was.
Yeah, I didn't love Strange Way of Life. It was a bit. I think it was more of a Yves Saint Laurent commercial. More than anything.
Yes.
Which literally, when it came, I remember I saw it at Biff. And it came up, produced or something like production was like, and I was like, oh, I've been bamboozled. I'm about to watch a 30-minute fashion commercial. Yeah.
But if you're going to watch a 30-minute fashion commercial,
you want it,
you want it to be directed by Pedro Almodóvar, and you want it to be starring Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal.
That's very true. Very true. There's worse things to do. Favorite performances or performance?
I mean, it's hard to go past Pepper.
I would
agree.
Yeah, Pepper.
She very much carries the film on her shoulders.
She's really good in that.
She is good.
She's one of the few characters who I can sort of connect with and just not find her annoying. Like, I find her friend really obnoxious and annoying, but that's how she's meant to be.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas is fun, but very much like a one-dimensional sort of character.
I agree. Yeah.
But there's just, I think Pepper has some great moments, like repeatedly breaking her phone.
Yes.
She needs her phone because it's the only way to contact Ivan. And she keeps leaving him voicemails, and obviously this is, made in 1988, so it's all landlines.
Yeah.
So she keeps calling him and leaving him messages, and then every time she gets one back from him, she like smashes the phone or throws it out of the window, and the phone repair guy has to come and fix the phone for her. And then the police are like,
no, man.
And then the police are like,
was so funny.
We got a phone call from this address saying that there was going to be a hijacking of a plane.
Yeah.
And then the phone repair guy's like, well, couldn't have been from here. Look at the phone.
Actually, it
that's
does.
right.
I didn't think about this till now. It does phone dialogue so well. In this movie, because a lot of the plot developments do happen over phone.
Because
that's very interesting. I thought,
until the end of the film.
Till the end of the film,
they only talk through leaving each other voicemails.
Oh, that's very interesting. That is very well done, actually.
Pedro, you've done it again.
He's done it again. But I'm the same. I think Carmen Mora is fantastic in the film. The supporting cast really do make it that she is wearing a lot of this movie on her shoulder. Would you, having seen a couple of his films, would you call this a good entry point to Pedro Almodóvar's film, or would you filmography, or would you start a little bit later and see sort of the bangers?
Yeah, I'd start
later.
Yeah.
This is fun. I can see the influence of this
but
movie.
It's not... This is probably one of my lesser favorite.
If you're a completionist, especially of Almodóvar, I would start later and then go back to sort of see. I'm kind of glad I watched this more retrospectively in his career. But I would start more with like the Volvas and the Broken Embraces, like these movies that are
All About My Mother's.
All About My Mother is brilliant.
I think that was where I started.
Yeah, and that is a brilliant film as well. I'd probably start in the early 2000s.
But I don't think this would be a bad place to start.
No, I don't think so either, no.
I think, it's one of those ones where read some synopses and see what...
It's a make or break one, because if you don't like the tone of this film...
Then you're probably going to be done, whereas I feel like those other ones we're talking about...
are a bit more restrained, but still have that vibe. At least. This is crazy. This movie is just
you start
crazy.
Like mid-filmography and then go either direction.
Like if you watch this and then you read the synopsis for Pain and Glory, which is about a filmmaker dealing with grief and drug addiction, you'd be like, how the fuck is he going to bring that tone to that? But he does.
I've got that wrong, actually. I didn't mind that. I didn't like Parallel.
You didn't like Parallel Mothers. Did we see Parallel Mothers together?
I think
might
so.
Have, yeah.
James Street.
I liked Parallel Mothers, but Pain and Glory, and that's the one that I think Antonio was nominated for an Oscar for that one. Yeah. He was really great.
I mean, it's made me excited
to see more
Almodóvar, which I know,
that's cool.
We've said for quite a few directors,
but
it's nice to finally sort of tick one off and go, cool, I've done one. It's not this big scary proposition now. You can start hitting up some.
And I like the style, so I'll see what else.
I think it's like I said, you will know if it's for you or not. Pretty quickly, but I think if you do enjoy it, you'll have a good time with it.
On SBS on demand as well here in Australia, so very easily accessible.
Oh god, ads,
but
I've had to stop
at only 89 minutes. You're only getting that.
It's just such a pacing killer.
It is
massively.
They're not in good parts of the movie as well.
I've have to stop using it.
Really?
Yeah, I used to use it, but then I really noticed myself just falling out of a film.
Yeah.
When and it's they don't even
they're not well placed.
No. It just randomly
physical media, guys.
Yeah,
buy
true.
physical
It
media.
blows my mind that pre-streaming, like 'cause obviously we grew up in a pre-streaming era.
Yep.
The
video
people
kids.
well, like obviously you had the option to watch stuff at cinema and you had the opportunity to rent stuff. But people used to watch movies on like free-to-air television.
Yeah. Saturday night premieres is like where I saw heaps of stuff. SBS late at night is where I saw
4 hours
somebody.
to get through a film.
It's a 2-hour film. Because it was like every 20 minutes, here's 5 minutes of ads on Channel 7.
Yeah.
Oh god, I can't imagine anything worse.
No, so bad.
Like I'm showing my privilege. I got to go to the video store. I could not have new releases. Just to clarify, I'm not that privileged. Weeklies only.
Weeklies only, of course.
We went on Tuesday, cheap Tuesday.
Cheap Tuesdays, yeah.
Pizza and a DVD.
Do what I did. Just work in a video store. That was the best thing I ever did.
I miss the video store.
I live in one now, which is great. Because I keep buying Blu-rays. I can't help it.
And like, it's not just a nostalgic thing from like, being kids. Like there's just something about the experience and the tactility of it.
Walking down those lanes
and
just looking at covers.
Taking a chance on something. Taking a chance on something was
I've
the best
found
thing
that
you
I
could
don't do that as much now.
I'm trying to more.
And you'd watch it the whole way through because you'd spent money on it.
Yeah, literally.
Whereas you watch
it
something on Netflix now and it's not grabbing you in
like
10
it's
minutes,
free.
You turn it
It's
off
like, well,
because
it's not.
It's like, oh, I'm just watch one of these other. It's like, no, this is your movie.
Yeah.
You're not going back
Commit
in town.
to it.
Like, you're watching this.
I feel like back then as well, also like IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, Letterboxd, weren't as big
or weren't as accessible as well. Yeah.
So people weren't looking up.
I never looked at anything.
That's so true.
I think I had my Empire magazine subscription that
every month it would come through and you'd be like, this is what I'm looking out for.
But that's, I mean, most of the films that I kind of fell in love with when I was younger, I was introduced to by my dad going into Video Easy or whatever it was, and being like, cool, I've rented you. Here's Terminator. Here's Alien. And I'm like, sweet, I'm 12. This is the coolest thing ever.
I love it.
I was like, Dad, can I have that? And he's like, no, it's an R. You're only allowed MA15.
But I want to get into foreign films, Dad.
We got to the point at our local video store when I was like 9 and my brother was 7 or 8. And we were in there that often and renting that many movies. They knew what we were watching, that we could go in at that age and rent MA films.
Okay.
Because they would just be like, we knew you guys were getting these anyway. It was the best feeling. I'll never forget renting Bad Boys 2 with no parents there. It was cheap Tuesday. I had my $2 coin.
Yeah.
Bad Boys 2. And they're like, they'll let you watch this? I was like, they'll let us watch this. And then me and my brother watched Bad Boys 2 about 20 times in a week. And it still holds up today.
It was a simpler and happier time.
Yeah.
The good old days.
The good old days, we say, as just barely like grabbing at the millennial generational badge of honor.
Yeah, Josh is listening to us being like, these fucking
these
idiots.
fucking kids, these children.
I was getting the VHSs.
I rented VHSs. I remember the changeover for our video stores changeover from VHS to
I did have
DVD.
Like I remember watching
movies
like,
on
OG
VHS.
Star Wars on VHS when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I think by the time I remember going to like a video store, it
was
all
DVDs.
DVD. But
I
we
remember-
did have a VCR at home.
Yeah.
Like it had VHSs.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I missed that too.
And having to fucking rewind it and
Be kind and rewind.
Star ratings?
I was gonna say anything else to add before we go, but I'm happy to jump in.
No, I think it's a pretty simple film. It's a fun film.
Yeah.
I think at 90 minutes, just give it a watch.
I think so too. Yeah.
And I think, for such an acclaimed director, it's really, not that this was one of his first films, it's still early on in his filmography.
Very much so, yeah.
And I think it's always really exciting to see where they
start
off.
Right at the beginning.
And especially for me, having seen The Room Next Door, I'm like, okay, where was this guy 35 years ago?
Totally.
And you can still see this, if you'd watch those two films independently of anything else, this is the same guy.
The same guy,
And I love that.
that's great. That's great. Yeah.
Your star rating, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with 4.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
I was talking about like the soft and the strong ratings last episode. It's probably a soft 4.
Yeah.
But it's a 3.5 feels too low.
Sure.
So I think I'm happy with a 4. It's a lot of fun. It's short. It's sharp.
It's in.
I watched it with my partner and she loved it, which I was really surprised about because, again, those kind of like weird.
Has a lot of energy to it though, as well.
Things aren't really her style. Yeah. But she gave it a 4.5, I think.
Wow.
I don't think she gave How to Make Millions 4.5.
Yeah,
wow.
awesome.
So
you're a winner in the household, hey?
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna make her watch Stalker and
literally,
it swings.
It's a spectrum. It's a spectrum.
Yeah, that's right.
It's definitely a spectrum.
There's a spectrum in our house too. Yeah.
I think I made her watch Seven Samurai, and I'm still hearing about that one. So you can't win them all. But no, I'm happy. I'm happy with a 4. It was good fun.
Josh,
I'm 3.5 on this.
Yeah.
Only
a strong 3.5 or
just a 3.5 to be honest.
Solid.
just a run of the mill everyday.
I will say I was really tired when I watched this.
Yeah.
When it finished, I got up and just walked straight to bed. So I was probably not fully
engaged. Yeah.
But I, like we said, those early 2000s and through their a big part of my sort of start of foreign films.
Sure.
And this was, I could tell this was like an earlier version
of his.
Yeah.
That's the same reason I'm going to go 3.5, but a strong 3.5.
Yeah.
Similar for that same reason. I think I've seen better films from Almodóvar, but it's like you were saying, it's fun to watch where he started and where those ideas are sort of percolating, which I think is really exciting. So
percolating. Someone's got the word of the day calendar.
I have a thesaurus in my head. AI implanted it.
Because like the same with Barking Dogs.
Exactly. That's the same thing.
Good
like
to see where they.
It's a Bong Joon-ho movie through and through. It's far from his best, but it's still one of his movies. And that's how I feel about this. I see the acclaim. I understand why people do love this. I had a lot of fun, and I think it's chaotic and wild, which is very much in my wheelhouse. But by the time it ended, I was like, cool, I probably will never think of that again. There's not a lot of staying power with it for me, as opposed to something like, probably like Pain and Glory, something like All About My Mother and things like that. So, strong 3.5. I think it's a very entertaining movie.
I do wonder, because obviously you guys are a bit more experienced in Almodóvar than I am, whether I'd feel similarly.
I think that'd be interesting.
I've seen more of his films.
Possibly.
Mission to come back to that at some point. Yeah,
I'm a bit jealous of what you've got to come though.
This is Josh's dream.
Yeah,
it's the first time
he wants to get brain wiped.
Of me, so
he wants to get mind wiped to experience all of these great directors, all these author filmmakers again.
Right. I mean, my dad's been saying for decades that he's excited to have dementia just so he can rewatch all of his favorite films.
True.
There's a plus side. We've been really. There's a silver lining.
You got to look at the positives, and he absolutely is. That man's going to watch Star Wars every week.
Have you seen this movie?
Special effects suck, but damn.
Goddamn. It's an incredible story. Inspired by that Seven Samurai. But yeah, I think this is a really fun movie. Kieran pitched it, Elevator pitched it really well. So
we've been really lax on our
We have. We've been very kind to each other about it. Thank you for doing it for me. Because if I had to do it, I'd be on the verge of a nervous breakdown now. So that was Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Almodóvar has finally entered that 1-inch barrier chat. And I'm excited to explore more of what he does from there. Next film, we're circling back to our Oscars, Best International Feature Film at the Oscars series that we are continuing.
We're back to now,
2017 now.
Yeah, wow.
I know, we've done a bloody good job, guys. We're absolutely pounding through these. And the list of Academy foreign films, you might have to edit around this bit, Kieran, because I had it up and then I closed it.
I'm just going to leave this all in.
Leave it all in.
Everyone can see
Leave it all in. So 2017 is the year The director of this film is Sebastian Lelio, and it is his film A Fantastic Woman, which I have not seen.
No,
Where's it from?
I've seen it. Yeah, where is it from?
It is another Spanish film.
Spanish, yeah.
Was produced by Pablo Larraín, who I don't know if we've done Pablo.
We've not done on the... No.
I don't think we've done
What's
on the podcast.
Pablo Larraín done?
He recently did Spencer. He did Jackie.
Yeah, and another Spanish male director who tells stories
about women.
Spanish dudes. It's the original feminists.
They get it. But it's about a trans woman living in Chile who works as a singer and a waitress, and it is about her life. I think this was, obviously, I remember when it came out, and it was sort of very, especially considering, you know, where we are in the world with transgender people. Yeah. This was probably a very forward-thinking sort of film in 2017, which is crazy to say it's like less than 10 years ago. So I think I'm very interested to watch this film.
An Oscar winner.
Have you seen Fantastic Woman?
No.
Right.
So I'm excited.
I've seen it, but probably
back when it came out.
2018 or something, yeah.
So that'll be on the next episode. Then after that, we circle back around to Josh. It'll be Josh's pick. What have we got post-Oscars on that 1-inch barrier?
Okay, we've got another director that hasn't been featured on, and I've wanted to feature this director for a while.
Okay.
He's pretty well known in kind of foreign film circles.
Sure.
He's a Swedish film director.
Okay.
He's best known for his distinctive style of absurdist humor and melancholic depictions of human life.
Okay.
His name is Roy Andersson.
Okay. No, not ringing a bell yet.
I'm excited for you guys to experience a Roy Andersson film. The film I'm going to pick is called You, the Living.
You, the Living. Y-O-U?
Y-O-U. It's 89 minutes, Nick. You'll like it.
Oh, fuck yes. Okay.
It's in the Swedish city of Leith.
Okay.
People from different walks of life take part in a series of short, deadpan vignettes that rush past.
There's a bit of wild tales about this,
there
right?
definitely is. It's like short,
little vignettes.
yeah.
Okay.
He also has done, you may have heard of these, there's A Pigeon Sat on a Branch.
Yeah.
And
Reflecting on Existence, is that the...
Yes. And Songs from the Second Floor.
Okay.
I love that you went Wild Tales. I went 22 short stories about Springfield.
Oh, I mean...
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Fair.
But You, the Living is where I started out with...
Okay.
With Roy Andersson.
And we haven't done a lot of Swedish films. We did one recently with Border. We did Let the Right One In.
Oh wow, this is I've done 2 Swedish in a row.
Oh, I've heard of about. I think I've seen About Endlessness. Oh,
that's his newest.
His latest one.
Your latest one.
So I have seen a Roy Andersson film.
You have seen one. Okay.
I did watch this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I might have to dig up my old review for that. I'd be interested to see what I.
You, the Living is from 2007.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I'm excited too, actually. A Fantastic Woman for the Oscars. You, the Living for Josh's next pick.
Before we go, I just want to share this with you guys. This is the poster for Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown that's on Wikipedia.
Yep.
I'll put this in the video so that people who are watching can see it. Is that not just the most perfect poster for this?
That is perfect,
movie,
yeah.
Very like 60s American though.
Yeah.
Friends. I saw Friends
It
immediately is when I kind of got.
It is Friends.
Friends inspired by
the color
Almodóvar.
and the font.
Yeah, but I'm also getting like Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
Which
Interesting.
I do think there is some similarities. Yeah,
I would agree.
The humor.
I would agree.
Between
this sort of
Breakfast at Tiffany's
absurdist, sort of like tumultuous emotional times for the main character, but told through a very sort of darkly funny way. Yeah.
So there you go.
Cool.
There we go. That's another episode of That 1-Inch Barrier. Done. All of the links are below. You for, if you're listening to this, you can watch us on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can listen to us. Put us in your ears. And That 1-Inch Barrier on Instagram. Do it as many times as you'd like. We have the stamina. And all of our personal Instagrams, Letterboxd, whatever, is also down below. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next. Oh, wow. Good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.